Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 122 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. I tried to take a sick day today, but you wouldn't let me.
Yeah, well, the plan is to go down to the Red Stadium tomorrow night. I don't like this. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've tried to stay away from that team in contention since 2012. I don't want to relive those moments, and I feel like me going down to the stadium is going to be like the beginning of the end for this team in the last 6 games of the season. So I'm sorry that we're going to the Reds game tomorrow. So I couldn't let you have a sick day.
Yeah, it's like the anti-Bengals for you, right? Like usually you're the ringer we need to win.
Yeah.
For the Bengals, but you're the opposite for the Reds. You're the cooler.
I am. I'm 100% the core. Like I've since 2012, that's all I thought about. And I'm reading scenarios today. So if the Reds go 4-2 in the last 6 games, they essentially lock it up. The Mets would have to go 5-1. Okay. And that's not, chances are that's not going to happen. They're kind of struggling right now. So if they go in shooting for 4-2 is the ultimate, like, you're guaranteeing your spot in the playoffs. 3-3 still looks pretty good because they essentially have all the tiebreakers against all the teams that they're currently tied with and that are in the race. Like Arizona, they hold the tiebreaker over. So it's a really good scenario. It feels like this only ends in heartbreak on Sunday.
Obviously.
So, I mean, there's just no way it ends any other way than us just getting our hopes up, buying all these tickets. Everybody's going to pack the stadium the next 3 nights. They're going to go on the road to Milwaukee and just completely blow this. There's no way around this.
Yeah, is that so? What's the homestand? And then we're going. You said you're going to Milwaukee.
We got Pirates home for 3, away at Milwaukee for 3 more.
Well, this is heartbreak coming because we do nothing but get our ass beat by Milwaukee. So
yeah, the hope is you maybe try to sweep the Pirates and you got to win 1 of 3 in Milwaukee. If you're going into Milwaukee thinking you're going to win 2 of 3, that's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, definitely would be a tough task.
So I'm just not even. I'm not going to get my hopes up just knowing how this is going to end. And if it ends differently, then great. We get the Dodgers in the first round. That's going to be fantastic. So,
yeah, it would be fun just to see him get in. I mean, obviously, yes, it would be fun, but like they've got pitching, so that you never know in the playoffs.
That's my thing. Is like I feel like if they can find a way into the playoffs, like you just don't know, right? Like you throw Hunter Green out there who just went 9 innings last week. You throw out Lodolo, like. You throw out Andrew Abbott, and you see what happens. Like I like our chances in a series. It's just getting to that point and having that chance. That's the and this team feels like something where it's like if they could find a way to make the playoffs this year, it's like even if they lose the series, right, the next series, it's something that like might roll over into next year where it's like, oh, we're not just going to like be right around 500. Like they take that next step in. The winning, because that's kind of how the teams were back when we were good in, 2009, 10, 11, 12. It was like they had that one year where they were like, okay, they made the playoffs. They got crushed by Philly. But it was like that next year they almost won 100 games, right? So hopefully that's the step that, maybe we make the playoffs and it doesn't go our way, but it's like the step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, and it creates a different mentality for the organization too, right? Like they may actually be like, oh, we're a playoff team. Like maybe we'll go buy that extra bat or that extra arm or whatever.
Yep.
When they wouldn't do that if they're, hadn't made it or something.
100%.
So, yeah. Wasn't expecting to go that far on baseball coming off of that intro, but hey, it's September and it's good to talk Reds and it being in contention at least in late September.
That does feel good. We've not had that in quite some time.
Yeah. Well, we're on the doorstep of probably, definitely a top 3 event in golf for me. The Ryder Cup is this week.
I'm so excited. I've done nothing but consume Ryder Cup content since I got home this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a good distraction from what our teams did to us this weekend in the NFL. We don't need to discuss any of that.
I'm over it. I burned the game film already. It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, at least you have some excuses that, on the Bengals side, this is a team that has a storied history of losing, and they just set a franchise record for worst loss. And they also allowed the first ever PFF perfect grade to a player. Shout out to Isaiah Rodgers.
It was a perfect game. It's hard to explain it in football terms, but it'd be like a pitcher walking out on the mound and throwing a perfect game. That's essentially what he did.
Yeah. And then he got the chance to sit on the bench for the, the majority of the second half. That's how much they were winning by. So, yeah, that was tough. Before I forget, though, please, thank you all for listening. Subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. I was looking back at our notes. Do you know our first Ryder Cup episode? That was episode 24.
Holy shit.
Nearly 100 episodes ago.
Seems wild.
That seems insanely wild, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. 2 years, 50-ish weeks or whatever,
Yep.
But yeah, I was shocked to see that number. Coming out hot in our first year and having a Ryder Cup episode. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Now we've made it to what a disaster of a Ryder Cup that was. But
exactly. So that's what I was going to ask you. So I do have a little recap prepared here. Not anything crazy, but what's your lasting memory of the 2023 Ryder Cup?
Just the complete incompetence from our captain.
That's big of you to say.
After saying I thought he was going to surprise some people, and he just utterly undermined my opinion of him and just completely crap his pants.
Yeah, I think, and the kind of the highlight moment of that for me, the lasting image I have in my head is him talking Spieth into hitting 3-wood. I think on 16 or 17, whatever that hole was.
Yeah, if we're gonna get specific, it's definitely that moment.
Yeah, I have that picture in my head of Spieth and him talking and switching the head covers, like grabbing the different club, and then him just immediately rinsing it right in the middle of that lake.
And essentially losing that match, too. I think that was like the end of it, pretty much, right there.
Yeah, I think it's that. Honestly, probably the number one moment was Scotty crying because him and Brooks got their ass beat 9-7 by Victor and Ludwig.
Yeah, I think I was gonna get into that a little bit later. We can, but yeah, that was a pretty. I think it was a sad one because I don't think we've ever seen those emotions from our past stars. We'd watch Phil Mickelson just get diced the entire weekend, and just have no remorse for his play. We'd watch Tiger, the greatest player ever, possibly, just get absolutely hammered all weekend and just show no emotion. So that was actually a little bit refreshing. I know it wasn't in a great moment, but it was a little refreshing to see finally we have a star that seems like he cares enough to show that kind of emotion.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good way to take it. So yeah, looking back, obviously 2023, this happened in Rome. Marco Simone. I don't remember much at all about that golf course. But Europe wins 16.5 and 11.5, and honestly, it felt worse than that.
Oh, it felt way worse than that.
They split singles, so it made it feel a little more palatable. But morning foursomes, Europe gets out to a 4-0 lead. I stayed up to watch the opening match, the start of them. I forgot about this, but then I remembered today. Victor Hovland chipped in from on the green on the first hole, and I just remember sitting there and being like, "Yeah, we're so fucked. This is what's going to happen." And they proceeded to lose that session 4-0. And then in the afternoon, 4 balls, 2.5 to 1.5. Just they try to claw back, but not enough. You get to Saturday morning. This is when things really get off the rails. That's when Victor and Ludwig beat down Scotty and Brooks 9-7.
And if you remember correctly, that Brooks Scotty pairing was kind of off the cuff. It was not in their plan.
Correct.
And I think everybody knew it was this is not going to work well.
No, they went 0-2. They lost in the morning foursomes on day one as well. So
yeah. Well, especially after their first day appearance, it was why are we running them back out there? What are we doing here? And throwing them right in the shark's mouth. Throw them right in the alligator pit with, those guys.
Yeah, tough. So yeah, they get beat by them twice. And that was the 3-1 session win for Europe. Afternoon 4 balls. The USA actually wins that one 3-1. You get some late heroics from Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa. This is a famous the hat situation that took place the whole time. The waving of the hat around, the Joey LaCava,
God, what?
Getting in asses. Rory's trying to attack somebody and outside the cars afterwards. The whole just scene of insanity, really.
But for the record, that whole Rory thing, he was yelling at someone that wasn't even involved in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was so staged. It was like the coach. It was like the coach coming up with bulletin board material. It was so stupid.
Yeah. But somehow it's one of those crazy things that when you're an American fan, someone as unlikable as Patrick Cantlay and everything suddenly becomes a hero for you.
Yeah, it's a weird conundrum inside. Yeah, inside your head.
It's the same thing that happened with Patrick Reed, where he somehow became Captain America, even though he's one of the most hated golfers in American sports history. He wasn't
at that point, just to be fair.
Kinda, but I mean, I guess, yeah. So yeah, that all happens, and then singles, like I said, they split them. Kind of just there was always every Sunday at the Ryder Cup, there's always that moment of you look at the board, you're well, if X, Y, and Z happens, but really, it was not even as close as that scene.
Well, I think you get to that point, and if a couple of those things happen, you're all right, the momentum starts to shift.
Yeah,
and it just never they got to a point where it's all right, can they just push it over the hill, right? Just get it to a certain point, and they just never could get it moving in the right direction.
Yep. Do you remember who had the winning point?
Yeah, wasn't it? It was Tommy Fleetwood, correct? Yeah, and it was for the record, it was a given putt.
Yes,
from Ricky Fowler.
Yep,
that by no means should have ever been given. I mean, look, does he miss it? Probably not. But for a guy at the time who has no PGA Tour wins, he's not a proven winner on the PGA Tour, and he's proven to miss some pretty important putts in his career. I gotta see that thing hit the bottom of the hole. And look, they're probably still not winning. He probably wins it on the next hole. You gotta see that putt go in. You just have to.
Yeah, you got to make him putt that. It's for the Ryder Cup. Who cares? It's it's like in league night. You know somebody has a gimme birdie, but hey, you got to see him make the birdie, right?
Yeah, for a birdie, you got to see it hit the bottom of the hole.
Exactly. So that was the 2023 Ryder Cup. That also captained by Luke Donald on the European side, which is obviously relevant because he's doing this one as well. And yeah, so from there, I think we can get into 2025. That's a good segue into the European team, who is bringing back 11 of 12 players. The only difference is they traded a Højgaard. They swapped Nikolai for Rasmus. But I'll go ahead and read these off. Ludwig Aberg, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Robert McIntyre, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Justin Rose, and Sepp Straka. Again, Luke Donald's the captain. He's got 5 vice captains, both Molinaris, Eduardo and Francesco, Thomas Bjorn, Jose Maria Althable, and Alex Noren has come on as a vice captain of late. So didn't quite make the team as a player, but
yeah, I think if he had come back a little earlier, he might be on the team. He might be playing some of the best golf of the Europeans, and he's not on the team, which is crazy.
Yeah, he had that really, really bad injury. But yeah, had a good finish of the PGA and just won last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, at the BMW, over in I think it was then played in Ireland.
Yeah, so that is your European squad. Flipping over to the U.S. side, famously captained by Keegan Bradley, who did not pick himself. That was the talking point, obviously, leading up to this. His vice captains are Jim Furyk, Kevin Kisner, Webb Simpson, Brant Snedeker, and Gary Woodland. I would say a little bit of a changing of the guard on the European side, or the American side, sorry. Much younger set of vice captains, Jim Furyk aside, who's kind of the elder statesman of the group.
Yeah. Which, for the record, if we're changing guard, I actually don't mind Jim being in there. I think you can't change everybody as much as we'd love to. I don't mind Jim being in there too much.
No, and honestly, I don't know how long they took let the Keegan thing play out, but it kind of felt like, he'd be an easy, like, okay, we're going to make Jim the captain if Keegan's going to play kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just interesting to see, like, you know, as long as we've been golf fans and just our sort of generation, like these set of players is kind of like, oh, these were like the guys when like we were in high school and college, you know, and now they're being the captains. It's kind of weird. And then on to the team itself. Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Bryson DeChambeau, Harris English, Ben Griffin, Russell Henry, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, JJ Spawn, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, and Cameron Young round out your 12. High level, like before we get into actual picks and pairings and whatever, stuff like that, what's just like your general vibe around these two teams?
Well, it's already started. You know, the Americans are getting paid this year. What is it, like 300,000 goes to our charity, 200,000 stipend for, you know, whatever they want to use it on. You know, it came out today that, you know, the European team denied payment. They did not want to be paid. So they're not taking money. It's already started. And I can already see the negativity that I hope that our locker room is not listening to. But the overall vibe is, from a general golf standpoint, there's probably a lot of people rooting for the European team. I'm not going to lie. I truly believe that. Anybody that doesn't have a dog in the fight is probably cheering for Europe. That's the general vibe I get.
I'd not seen that, but that's pretty funny. And also makes sense. It also tracks. Like I don't know. I feel like Europe is so bought in. It's like, it's sort of a bit, but not a bit. They've like always been in on this, like, you know, the team kind of thing, right? Like, there's always have been.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about records here, I sent you that. You're going to see, like, it is what it is. Like, the Americans are better in singles. They're better individually. Not so much better in the team thing. And it kind of, the numbers track that same feeling.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at that. Where? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. This is like career for the individual players.
It is. Yeah, so it's like all the matches that they've ever played. But if you look at, there's a drastic difference in singles. Like, Americans play singles better. I mean, they just do. And that's like across every form of match play, right? But you start getting into team stuff. The team record's not as good on the American side, but on the European side, it's a little bit better than the American. So, yeah, I think, but I think that's the general stance around it, right? And I think they've kind of bought in, and I think that's the storyline everybody's rolling with. Americans are maybe not as bought into the whole Ryder Cup experience and needing to get paid and all this stuff, but I don't know. I don't look too much into that. I mean, I get it, but if someone's going to offer me $500,000 for a weekend of golf, I don't care how much money you have, you're not going to turn that down.
I mean, yeah, yes, correct.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just call it what it is. They're professional golfers. Like, especially, like, a lot of these guys have their own charities. Like, $300,000 towards their charity, you know, maybe the one that they run, it's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be like, no, I'm not going to take that. And maybe they could have just taken the charity money and said, hey, hold the stipend. But, you know, $300,000 going towards a charity, it's kind of hard to, like, blame. If it was, like, all going in their pocket, maybe it's a different discussion. But it's a lot of money going towards charity. Specifically, a lot of these guys have their own foundations and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know. I don't have as big of a problem with it as some people do, but.
Yeah, I think for me, the weird thing about this Ryder Cup, it feels like for once Europe sort of has more star power. Like they have more names that people know.
I was going to say that, kind of just looking at the raw numbers and world rankings and things like that, they don't usually have this type of like, oh, they're running in some guys that are, you know, top 10 in the world, guys that probably should be top 10 in the world and they're not, you know what I mean? Like, speaking of Victor Hovland, you know what I mean? Like he should be top 10. He's not, but he's definitely got we've seen it. He's got the capability to be a top 10 player in the world. So they definitely have more star power this year than I think they've ever had in the past, at least in our lifetime of watching the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. And part of that, too, is like, you don't have a guy like Brooks make the team, right? Spieth, not on the team. You could, who knows if he would have be on the team if he was still on the PGA Tour or not, but like DJ, not on this team.
Yep.
Like you've got significant like major winning stars from the US side that are not here. And then you've got guys like JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin, Harris English, like some of these
that's Benny Boom Boom to you, by the way. But by the way, that nickname's not sticking. That's a terrible nickname.
It's horrible.
It's a terrible nickname.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that was who's trying to make that a thing.
The actual Ryder Cup
oh my God
page is trying to make that stick, and I won't allow it. I won't allow it because I have too much respect for Ben Griffin. So
see, this is the problem. Every time like they try to push me away. Like they're making me not want to be a fan.
I saw that and I'm like, that's not a real thing. That's not a real name. And let's just stop it. Let's stop it in its tracks right now.
Yeah, that's tough. Okay, well, all right. So I haven't given this much thought, but I'm curious, maybe you have, especially on the US side, because we have so many variables and just like kind of, it's like a weird team composition, the way it broke. Are there any pairings that stand out to you?
Well, so I was going to bring that up. So the first practice round, the first real like, hey, we're going out, we're rolling the balls out, and to give you some, I guess, kind of give you a glimpse on guys that are probably going to be paired up, or maybe they're teetering with the idea of pairing these guys up. So Group A was Bryson, Ben Griffin, Justin Thomas, and Cam Young.
Yeah.
First take on that, you got two very silent killers in that group, and Ben Griffin and Cameron Young, and you've got two very vocal killers in that group. I think it's a very yin and yang in that group. Like, it's almost where you pair like a Ben Griffin with Justin Thomas or even a Cam Young to kind of like, hey, we want you to get excited, but to kind of like ground you a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Group B was Harris English, Russell Henley, Scotty Scheffler, JJ Spawn.
Yeah.
This feels like the assassins. Like maybe outside of Harris English, like Russell Henley, I think is going to surprise some people, even though I don't think it's the greatest course fit. JJ Spawn, we've seen what he can do in pressure situations. And then you got him paired with, by far the number one golfer in the world. And then Group C was Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, and Xander Schauffele. So I'm going to guess there's a pretty good chance that those guys won't stray from those groups. I'm going to guess they're still doing the pod system. Yeah, I really love Group A, and I really love Group B. Group C is the one that's like, we need those guys to play well to win this, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are our stalwarts that just have not played very well this year. And they're all kind of in the same pod, and that worries me a little bit. But it does feel like every group kind of has an anchor, right? Like someone that's like, this guy, I'm assuming, you'd probably throw in like a Justin Thomas's Group A's, like, this is our anchor, and everybody's going to kind of move pieces around him. Same with Scotty Scheffler, and then same probably with Patrick Cantlay, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think I do like the sounds of those. The Group A does not surprise me. Like, I think we had heard, the whole Bryson and Cam Young playing the same golf ball. I think that sets up well for them to potentially be all shot partners. And I think Ben Griffin with JT is like such a good pairing because you've got JT's experience in ball striking, and Ben Griffin hits it well off the tee and is a great putter. That tracks to me. I think you could play, if they go to that pod system route, like JT and Bryson feels like a really strong
well, I was going to say, and maybe let's just say the morning doesn't go your way, right?
Yeah.
And you roll a JT and Bryson out there. That's kind of like your stopgap, right? Like, all right, things are not going our way. Let's roll our horses out and see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah, like that feels like a really good 4-ball pairing to me. Just so many birdies between those two guys.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Definitely not alt shot. I don't want to see those dudes chasing the ball all over the golf course.
We don't need that. That'd be bad. For Group B, it's just the question of like, who do you put with Scotty? And it seems like they're taking the approach of like, kind of like letting him be the alpha in that.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like putting somebody steady with him, because that's like literally all three of the like fairways and greens kind of players around him. Which honestly, he kind of has like the superhuman version of their games, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say a Russell Henley, Scotty Scheffler alt shot could melt TV screens. I mean, you give Scotty somebody that has a putter like Russell Henley's, like, and Scotty's putted well this year. But I'm just saying, like, you give him the number one putter in the world, because that's what Russell Henley's been over the last 2 or 3 years. That's a scary thought. I mean, you get Scotty stuffing them in there to 5-6 feet. Russell's not missing many of those. You know what I mean? So I do like that as a foursomes pairing for sure.
Yeah, and then if you go to that, like you said, Group C is kind of like you're probably going to get Xander and Cantlay, because that just is what it is.
It is, yeah.
I'm intrigued by Colin and Sam Burns though, because that's Sam Burns off the tee with the putter, and then if that's working well and Colin's hitting his irons, I mean, that could be pretty dangerous.
It feels like the volatility of Group C could be off the charts, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's weird because like Xander Cantlay was kind of like going into last one was like, that's your team, like that's our A team.
Yeah,
and they did not play up to that standard last time.
No.
And this year has been a little off for both of them. So yeah, I'm curious to see what you get out of those guys.
Yeah. I like those if that's truly the pods that they're going with, and maybe it's some, and maybe they're trying to mix and match some things, so we might see some different groups tomorrow. But I'd imagine if these roll out tomorrow, the same way, you can almost expect that these are going to be the guys that they're rolling out together.
God, thank you for filling air as my nose is just like pouring. Oh God, sorry for any sniffles anybody hears too. By the way, I'm battling through it here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for the American. Is there any like off the wall pairings though? I mean, that's like the pods and what we think might happen. Anything that you would want to see?
Just the only way I think they go outside of these is if they're really like, okay, they're rolling into Saturday, maybe even the second session of Saturday, and they're like, we've got to get all of our big dogs on the course at once. And as you can see, other than Group A, that's the only real. Yeah, I guess Group C has one, but it's almost like, if you're starting to mix and match, do you throw JT out with like a Scotty Scheffler? You know what I mean? Like the star power is off the charts in those two. That would be something I'd love to see. The problem is with Bryson, and it's not a Bryson thing. I actually think a lot of guys on the team like him. Yeah. I think he's kind of just like everybody. He's kind of grown on them a little bit. But the problem is Bryson's like, you're not going to throw Bryson out there with Patrick Cantlay.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like if you're going to go off the wall, right?
Be like friendly fire.
Yeah. I think the only ones that have the real personality to probably play with him is like a Scotty or a JT, or if you're going to go off the cuff, and maybe even like a Sam Burns. You know what I mean? Just because Sam kind of feels like like nothing really bothers him, so it's like maybe you go that direction. But like Bryson's not going to go out and play with Colin Morikawa. Bryson's not going to go out and play with Patrick Cantlay. Chances are Bryson's not going to go out and play, with a Cam Young. Cam Young is just there's too much oil and water there, I think. But those are the kind of like Bryson and JT. I think a Scotty and like Patrick Cantlay. If you're really like trying to stop gap and like we got to get all of our horses out on the course, trying to pull closer. That I could see those off the cuffs coming, and those make sense, right? The whole like rolling, poor Scotty, rolling Scotty out there with a dead, a dead body last year as an off the cuff pairing that just got their brains beat in last year. I hated that, right? But some of those make sense if you're like, we just got to get all of our best players on the course and we got to figure out how to do that, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think the only one, I think the only one that really intrigued me that would be weird would be Scotty and JT, just because I think like you have the best player with like the ultimate US hype guy.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if like maybe you could get a little bit more out of Scotty because of the energy that JT brings.
Yeah, he's juicing the crowd. Yeah. I could see that. That would intrigue me. That pairing would catch my eyes for sure.
Yeah, and I honestly think like strokes gains and stuff aside, like I think that's probably like your two headline players on the U.S. side.
100%. Yep.
All right, European team, like, I mean, I think they're going to do a lot of what they did last time. I would imagine.
I would imagine, yeah.
Ludwig and Victor had a lot of success. Curious to see how that goes this time. Ludwig had some ups and downs. Victor's been incredibly inconsistent.
Yep. But I think they stick with it. I would say the Europeans, if not for anything, when they find something that works, they don't care about past. They don't care about the last 2 months. If it worked the last time they rolled it out, they're going to keep rolling it out.
Yeah.
Hence, like Ian Poulter making like two of the teams when he like disappeared from the face of the earth. You know what I mean? So
for sure. Yeah. So if you just look at the teams, like I looked this up on Data Golf earlier, like because shout out to Aaron and Joe. They were texting me a little bit about the Ryder Cup today. Both of them were staring down the plus money on the European side and kind of trying to talk themselves into it. And I was like, I was feeling that all spring and summer long. And the more I've sat with it, the more I just kind of feel like the U.S. team should win, especially given it being on American soil. A team playing on the opposite team soil has not won since 2012 at Medina. And honestly, the European team, like, they got off so hot in the winter and early spring, and everybody, I think, remembers that and just kind of forgets that a lot of these guys have disappeared for the last 3 months, Yeah,
and Shane Lowry's not had a last good couple months.
No, I mean, I just looking at the full list of 24 players here, Europe has 4 of the bottom 6 players in strokes gained over the last 3 months right now. That being Straka, who is last, Lowry, Hatton, and Rasmus Højgaard. JT and Colin are the 2 Americans down there.
Yeah.
But like the difference between these 2 teams to me is, yes, Europe has some names, but like when you just look at like actually how they're playing, the Americans like 7 through 12 are just like slightly stronger.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, Europe's going to have probably 2-3 guys, maybe even 4. They're going to go 5 matches. And I just don't think you'll see that on the U.S. side. Maybe Scotty plays 5, but I bet no one else goes above 4.
Yeah, I would guess Scotty's probably the only one they roll out every session.
Yeah. And that stuff
maybe
matters.
Maybe Patrick, depending on how well he's playing. If he's playing well, he might get rolled out for 5. But outside of those 2 guys, I don't see anybody playing every session other than those 2 guys.
Yeah, I just think that that's a luxury that U.S. team has that Europe doesn't. And when that matters, especially when you're the away team, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're out there, you're in it, you're the opposing fans all day long days, like all of that really adds up in the long run when it's this tight of a margin, I think.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
Speaking of Data Golf, so they kind of model this out, forecast it. What do you think the current forecast says, percentage of chance to win?
I would say it's probably 65-35 is my guess.
I'm surprised you guessed that high. Right now, 58 to 33%.
Okay.
With the tie in between there. But yeah, earlier this morning it was about 60% for the U.S. team. So yeah, they're fairly significant favorites.
Yeah, and honestly, on paper they should be. They should be. But
it's weird because you, like I said earlier, you kind of have the star power more on the Europe side, it feels like. But statistically, especially when you look at more recent form, the U.S. team is a better team on paper.
Yep.
Cool.
So some of the pairings, I think, the Tommy Fleetwood Rory pairing is going to be, it might get rolled out every session. I mean, I don't know if you could. I don't know if they're going to play Tommy every session. I mean, Rory's going to probably play every session, but you had that Justin Rose, Bob McIntyre pairing last year. I think, they ended up beating a dead body Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, and Saturday afternoon. Like they had some really, really good pairings, I think. And I'm not talking about just Victor and Victor's pairing and everything. That was a good one, but some of the ones. Rahm played with Hatton, if you remember that. they dominated. Actually, they dominated Scotty in the first morning session on Friday last year. Scotty and Sam Burns. Obviously, you got Victor Ludwig. The Rory Tommy thing they rolled out a couple times last year. There was one other one that I remember. If you remember, Matt Fitzpatrick didn't play that much last.
You know what his record is?
I think he ended up going. I want to say he went like 1-2 last year or 2 years ago. I could be wrong about that. He only played 3 sessions though.
His overall record, hold on, in the Ryder Cup is 1-7.
Yeah, I think he went 1-2 last year. I think we figured it out. He was the only member with a losing record last year.
Yeah. He's, I don't know, which is intriguing because if you look at the form list, he's in the top 5 right now. Like he's been playing well for the last few months.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of you got to play Rasmus in best ball, and I'm trying to think of who
So his brother played with Tommy last year in the Saturday afternoon.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who.
I would guess they're going to try to keep their rookies with some veterans, and I would imagine.
Didn't Nikolai play with Rom? I feel like I remember them making some weird putts and stuff on us.
He did. Yeah, they tied Scotty Scheffler and Brooks Koepka on Friday afternoon. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to see that, but I think you could put just a 4-ball pairing, put Rasmus with Sepp and just try to make 15 birdies.
Yeah. I mean, that is a ball striking duo right there. I mean,
yeah.
The
Two guys that can just go nuclear.
The volatility scale on that pairing is probably off the charts.
Yeah. If they were to break up Ludwig and Victor, I think Rasmus and Victor would be fun too.
Yeah.
I always I tried to get this to happen last time too. I wanted to see Rory and Ludwig, and it didn't happen. They went with Victor instead. I think Rory and Rasmus would be really good. But yeah, otherwise, I think you're right. Rory Tommy feels like such a good pairing. You just put Rose with they don't really have that. I mean, I guess Rasmus is the young guy on this squad, but just put him with whoever, and he's going to just carry the torch for them.
Just for the record, so the only match that Rory lost was with Matt Fitzpatrick. He won twice with Tommy 2 years ago. He actually won another one with Matt and lost another one with Matt. So, yeah. I don't know how they're going to do that. That seems like it seemed like their weakest pairing, even though you're carrying Rory around. It should make it relatively good. I just don't think Matt's been the same for the last 2.5 years. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. And maybe he played obviously 3 sessions. It'd be interesting. He might only play 1 session on Friday and Saturday and play, the singles.
Yeah, I could see that. Kind of feels
what makes that hard is, you almost got to play a guy a couple times just so they can get out on the course, get the vibe. Because the last thing you want to do is needing them in singles and you're rolling them out there for the second time all weekend, needing a point out of them in singles. You know what I mean? That would be tough.
Yeah, I think that they all kind of have a strategy of trying to get these guys 3 matches over the weekend, but once the balls are in the air, it's kind of hard to do if things go the wrong way.
If you're down, right? You're down, you're oh well, he's already a fringe guy as it is, and maybe that changes things a little bit. So
for sure. All right, you want to draft some teams here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Last go around, we drafted teams. We took 8 players each, did a little snake draft, just trying to get the most points as possible on our teams. I think we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to take my notes. I don't know who won last time, so I don't know who gets first pick. But
you won, yeah. But for the record, my Bobby Mack pick 2 years ago,
yeah,
he actually ended up having a winning record. Just you kind of roasted me for that, and I just want everybody to know that Bobby Mack got me a winning record. So,
all right, well, I'll waste no time. I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler.
Okay. And I'm going to waste no time, and I'm going to take Rory, even though this it just kills me to my soul.
You're a rat. All right, we snaked last time. Do you want to snake again, or do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the way we should go. Oh, God. All right, give me. God, my team. I hate my team. Is it just I'm going on the record with this pick? I hate my team. Give me Patrick Cantlay.
Whoa. Damn.
I couldn't take another European, even though I liked the European better that I was going to pick. But
that's what you kind of get to a point where your first pick almost determines who you take, because it's like you want to stack. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and you got to think, we just talked about it, right? Of all the guys, like those three guys are probably playing all 5 sessions. If you had to pick 3 guys to play all 5 sessions, those are probably the highest chances of those happening. So you want your guy to get out there and get as many chances as possible, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm going to leave a name on the board here for you. It's going to be tough for me to do, but I'll explain that later. I'm going to take Bryson here.
I was thinking about him, but what I worry about is the buy-in from some of the media, and he only rolls out like 3 times.
Yeah, I could see that, but I think I'm just looking at, spoiler alert, I think the U.S. team's going to win. I'll make an official prediction later. And I'm thinking he's probably the best course fit that they have. So
probably, yeah.
We're going to ride that and see. Hopefully he gets 4 matches in. Second pick, man. This is where it gets a little tricky. I'm going to take, just as a little hedge here, I'm going to take Ludwig.
Okay. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think, again, a course fit thing, and he might be part of one of these European super teams that gets hot, so we'll see.
All right, well, my first pick, I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay.
Just hedging on the fact that he's probably going to be with Rory. And it's kind of one of those, the way I look at that pairing, it's like you're playing football, right? And you're like, we're going to let this guy have 400 yards, but no one else is doing anything else. It's kind of that mentality, right? Let them go out and win 5 matches. Who cares? Just don't let anybody else do anything, right? And that's kind of what I'm playing into here.
This is good strategy by you and bad by me. That probably should have been my pick to stop you from doing that, because that could be like 8 to 10 points potentially for you.
Yeah, between the two of them. Yeah, I've got both of them. But that's kind of like, let the star wide receiver have 300 yards. Just don't let anybody else beat you, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. All right, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna kind of hedge my bets with the Americans here. And I'm going to go with, give me Justin Thomas.
God, you're a rat. I hate you so much. Oh, I thought you were going to keep building this European contingent. That hurts. That hurts bad. Because now I'm going to get in a position where I have to take a guy I don't want. Ugh. All right, well, this is going to be a reach, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to bank on him getting it right. And if Cantlay's going to be your 2nd round pick, I'll make Xander my 4th round pick.
Man.
I don't want to do that. I wanted JT in that spot, but you sniped me. Heading back to the European side. God, there's a name screaming at me, but I'm going to try to do what you did. I'm going to take Hovland.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're going to take Victor, you kind of have to like really pour into that pairing and hope they play as well as they did from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got? We got 4 more picks each, right? Have we picked 4 each?
You have 4 left. I've got 3 left.
Okay.
Because I picked
All right. So here's where I think I start hammering the Americans. You took Xander.
Correct.
I'll tell you what, give me the U.S. Open champion.
I like that. I think he needs to be on one of these squads.
Yeah, give me the U.S. Open champion. He's a dog, too. He is a dog.
Some people would say a Justin Epier doppelganger.
Close. Slightly darker skin. We do have dark complexions, both of us do. But very close. I'm a little taller, I think.
I think so. Maybe.
I'm trying to think if I double down on the Americans, assuming they're going to win, because I think that's maybe the case. Or do I just hedge my bets again? I don't know who I'm hedging with. There's a former number one player in the world, and there's also another just Ryder Cup stalwart is still not chosen. So
correct.
I tell you what, I think this guy's going to get a lot more playing time than everybody's thinking. He is, I think the general consensus is he's not going to get a lot of playing time, and I think they're going to I think just because it's such a good course fit for him that I think he's going to end up earning more spots, right? Like he might not play Friday morning, but he's going to probably play Friday afternoon, and it might lead to him getting a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon pairing. I'm going with Cam Young.
Hell hath frozen over. You've selected
and I didn't call him Scam. Scam is on the back burner until this thing's over with.
Wow, what a pick! This is insane. It's become insane now.
And I'm telling you, it's genuinely like I think it's such a good course fit that he's not playing Friday morning. At least I wouldn't think he would play Friday morning, but I think it's something where he plays well on Friday afternoon. It earns him to play maybe 36 on Saturday.
You've absolutely nuked my strategy.
And give me my singles point now, because that guy, if there's any singles player that's probably like a guaranteed win, he might be it. He's just not a team guy. It's okay.
I can't believe you did that to me. I think he's going to play with Bryson. That was going to be my double up.
And that's why I'm kind of taking those points from you. Yeah.
And now you're going to leave me to have to do what I don't want to do. I am just going to have to take Jon Rahm.
I mean, we're just glazing over the guy that was literally number one in the world, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, we'll get to him in my hot take section. But I have to just take the value on the board there with that. This is my last pick, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no. Okay.
No, I think you would go again here.
Yeah. I got
twice, and then you got one more at the end, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Geez. See, this is where it's hard because it's like you look, like we talked about, you look at the European team, there's more names. All right, I'm going to take Henley just on the basis that he might play with Scotty.
That's probably not the worst pick in the world. I could have probably gotten you both ways. I could have taken Cam, and I could have taken Russell.
I was thinking my two picks there were about to be Henley and Cam Young, but I guess
the one thing that worries me about Henley is I just think they're going to look at it from a course fit perspective.
Yeah.
And there's just no way he plays in 4-ball. There's just no way. Just zero chance that he plays in 4-ball.
Yeah. They'll go with the bomber.
They want him hitting irons and putting from Scotty's drives and Scotty's approach shots,
Right.
All right. So these are my final two. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Give me the guy that seems he's the only one that ever outpaced Father Time. Give me Justin Rose.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be on your squad in this.
Again, he's a guy that's like made a gigantic comeback in my likability column over the last 4 years.
Same.
And look, he was not playing well going into last Ryder Cup, and the guy just found a way to just scratch out wins out of nowhere and halves, and it's just, in a true gritty form, scratching out a bunch of them, a bunch of points last 2 years ago.
Last pick.
I'm going to stand by my guy. I'm going to stand by him. He deserves to be on this team. Shots gained. He's fifth on 5th in total Ryder Cup this year. He is 5th in shots gained this year. I'm going with Ben Griffin. Give me my guy, Benny Boom Boom.
Benny Boom Boom. Oh, God. Yeah, that's those last 2 picks. It was like I would have been shocked if you came away without those 2 guys on your team. Last pick to me, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Americans and 3 Europeans. Maybe I just round this out here. God, dude. I just don't like looking at these guys. Yeah, like they're just not enjoying myself looking at these players.
At this point, it's like, you know, I've been a big Ben Griffin fan since before the teams are picked. Really banging the Ben Griffin drum. I felt like I had to have him on my team.
Like
there's a winner from this year on this list that you're just glazing over. You guys share the same first name. I mean,
well, I mean, it comes down to like who's going to play.
I think Bobby Mack's earned his playing time this year.
I kind of think so too. Good, seems like a good course fit. I'm thinking about Hatton, but like his form looks like ass.
Yeah, it's not been great.
I have Rahm now, and it's like, do I take him if they pair up again? You know. But on the American side, it's like I'm staring down. I just can't. I can't take Morikawa. I should, based on like the value, but like he's not a course fit. He's played like shit this year. I just don't want him on my team. Not a good locker room guy. All right, I just don't want that. I might just have to. God, this is so bad. This is gonna be the pick that decides this too. I already know.
You know, it's funny. As bad as I think my Bobby Mack pick was my last pick 2 years ago, and it actually brought me closer. I just had too many Americans, and they just didn't play well. But like, it brought it closer. You know, it really did.
Yeah, I am gonna take. All right, we're gonna go for it. Sam Burns. I'm gonna do it. I think I wanted him. I'm just worried about how much he's actually going to play. I know. I'm gonna. You just got to hope he plays 3 and goes 2-1 kind of thing. I think is what it is. The same thing. I have the same questions about Bobby Mack and Tyrrell Hatton and those guys on that side. So it's like, if I think the American team's going to win, I'd just rather try to get, play the points angle essentially. All right, I don't love that, but those are the teams. Recap real quick. I have Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Ludwig Aberg, Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, John Rahm, Russell Henley, and Sam Burns. Justin has Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Thomas, JJ Spawn, Cam Young, Justin Rose, and Ben Griffin. I feel like there's if we traded the top halves of our 2 teams, it would be more likely to be like my team would be yours and yours would be mine.
I think so. Yes.
You rooting for Rory will be fun. That'll be fun to watch.
I'm not going to be rooting for him. The points I get are the points I get. That is the only thing. That's the only. I can't bring myself to root for him.
I get it. All right, prediction time before we move off of this. Who do you got for MVP of this Ryder Cup?
I think this is Scotty's redemption year. I do. I just think he played so poorly in Italy. I just don't think there's any way that happens, and I don't think they're talking about Rory's all he's juiced up. He's been talking about this opportunity to win on American soil since 2 years ago. Like in the press conference, he was like, the goal is to go there and win. After they just won the Ryder Cup. I think, while Rory's a little more vocal about it, I think behind the scenes, Scotty wants this more than anybody on the golf course to make up for how he played 2 years ago. So I would guess he's gonna show out, and he's been by far the last time he's looked mortal is probably 2 years ago in that Ryder Cup. That's been the last time he's really looked mortal in the last 2 years.
That or when he was making ravioli at home.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is the Scotty Scheffler Ryder Cup. It's going to be what kind of defines this one. Would not be shocked by a 5-0, to be honest.
Yeah.
it'll depend on obviously who he gets paired with and how they're playing. But yeah, this feels like a real statement opportunity for Scotty. And he seems like the kind of guy that actually cares about it too. So
yeah, and he's not going to be vocal about it, right? Like he's not a Rory and like come out and say it, right? But there's just something you like. There's got to be a fire in there of like seeing himself cry 2 years ago, and just that fire of like I'm not going to let that happen again. And he's good enough to not let that happen again. So,
all right. Another question: who among like the rookies do you think like who's going to be the best rookie? Quick reminder: that's JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, Ben Griffin, Cam Young, and then on the European side, you got Rasmus.
I want it to be Ben. I don't think it's going to be. I would imagine Cam Young's probably going to. Again, it's more of a course fit thing than anything. But I would say my heart wants Ben Griffin to be the standout rookie. I would say talent and course fit, it's probably going to be Cam Young. It is what it is. But I think I think he's going to get enough opportunities where he's going to be able to kind of show that. So,
yeah, we're agreeing too much right now. I hate that you're on Cam Young with me. That's sad.
Again, it's more of a course fit thing. You just look and the guy bombs the ball. It's a long course.
Yeah,
like it is. Kind of is what it is. I mean, I'll change my answer to Ben Griffin if you want me to.
No, it's fine. I also think Cam Young he's underrated in the bigger events. I don't think people realize his record in some of the majors and stuff. So yeah, I think I think he's going to rise to the occasion in front of like a home crowd as well.
Yep.
All right, boldest take of this Ryder Cup.
I think Rory has a losing record.
Okay. I want to go.
I think that's part of how they win, right? Like I think that in order for them to play well, if you look at the Ryder Cups they've won, he's played well, right? He's won matches. The Ryder Cups they've lost, he's kind of gotten he's kind of gotten a kick, brought to him a little bit. Whistling Straits, he didn't play well. They got smoked. He played well last year or 2 years ago. They won. I think it's like how he goes, they go. And I think he's going to end up having a losing record, which probably makes or breaks whether they win or lose or not.
Yeah, so my kind of similar vein to you, but maybe bolder. And this is why I didn't want to draft him. I'm going to say Jon Rahm does not score a point in this Ryder Cup.
I could see that.
I think, if they do the Hatton pairing, Hatton's not been playing well. You got the New York crowds. He's not won on Live this year.
Yeah.
Did not perform particularly well at the majors. I think he's just kind of taken a step back as a player from, what we remember him as. And I think the combo of who he plays with, him taking a step back, and the fans will make this sort of a frustrating week for John, and he will not hold up under that pressure.
I agree. Yeah, I like that. God, we are agreeing too much. I was going between like him or even maybe like a Victor Hovland Ludwig are not going to win a point. That pairing's not going to win a point. I just think they have had some major stars take some steps back, and I think maybe 2 years ago you didn't see that just because it was so early on in the Live stuff and all that. But now that we're kind of 2 years down the road, and Victor's not playing well, Ludwig's kind of up and down. John's been on Live for now a year and a half. It just kind of feels like it's like we're further removed from that it might actually have an effect at this point, right?
Yeah. All right, and then you got something else?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say final predictions. What's who wins? What's the score?
I'm gonna go 17-11.
Dang, for the Americans.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty significant beating.
Yeah, I even have a headline. We usually do headlines for stuff like this.
Yeah, I took it off the agenda because my brain couldn't. But what's your headline though? I'll take it.
USA goes top shelf in Long Island.
Okay. There you go. I like that. Yeah, I think it'll be closer than you do. just because I feel like sort of the way that sort of the narrative has been going into this, and like, the European team really they started off so well, and it looked like the U.S. team was going to just get drummed early on in the season. And I think they'll hang around enough. And they've got like the flip in their team too. It used to be very much like they needed a certain setup to win, right? Like they needed it more narrow.
It used to be shorter. That way. It did.
They've got true like elite golf, like talent level players, true bombers, guys that can hold up on this golf course. And I think the Bethpage factor of it will keep it close enough. I'm going to say 15-13. I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Okay.
And, a key match on Sunday afternoon, somebody will flip it for us and it'll go red. So
I can say, I'm not a European fan, but I would be slightly worried about how Rory handles these crowds.
Possible.
I mean, he took a 19-year-old's phone this year. Like, what does he think he's going to get at in New York?
Everything post Masters was a little weird for Rory. So
and they're going to lay into him. I mean, they're going to he's the face of the team. It is what it is. Like you're the captain. You get all the praise and the successes. You get all the you get all the criticism, all that, right? He is. I got this feeling that he is. I don't know if he's going to handle these crowds well. And it's different than 2012. When him and Patrick Reed had their back and forth and fist pumps and all that. This is different. This is like, and I think, I'll be honest, I think this is probably the most consequential Ryder Cup that we've had in quite some time. Probably since 92, when it was like, when was that? When was Brookline? 95? Was that 95 or 97? No, because Tiger was on that. 99. That was like one of his, like, we're getting our brains beat in. And we haven't won one in a while. And it was like, we got to come out and win this. I truly believe it's on that. 26 years later, I think it's that consequential. It's like, man, if we can't win at Bethpage in New York with these fans, it could be. And again, that was in Boston. Same thing. Great sports fans. It's like, if we can't win here with these fans here, like, when are we going to win again? And that's kind of how this one feels. So I do. I think it's very consequential. I think the Americans are taking it that way. I really, even though they're getting paid, and some of the takes on that in the media are just outrageous. But I think they do actually care. And I do think they realize how big of a Ryder Cup this truly is.
Yeah, Rory had the quote recently of saying, like, he thinks the hardest thing in sports to do right now is to win an away Ryder Cup.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, I think that speaks to what you're saying about this being so consequential, where, like, if they don't win this one, it's like such a bigger deal than them just not winning. Yeah. And then it bleeds into 2 years from now when they have to go overseas, and then they'd be a dog there, right? Like, they wouldn't be favored to win that. So you think about it coming back around.
Where's that one at? Is that at Royal Dornoch?
I think it's a Dare Manor.
Oh, okay, a Dare Manor. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if that's 4 years before you're back on home soil, this team looks totally different then,
heck, yeah. There might not be any of these guys on that team, right?
Yeah, so it's like, truly, like, I agree with you. I think this one's more important than it probably is getting credit for. There was a feeling, and I was only 9 years old at the time, but I remember being pretty tied in with that Ryder Cup, and it was like, we've got our just asses kicked for so long, and it was kind of like, the buck stops here, and it was like, we're going to win this, right? Now, they got off to a rough start in 99 and had to make a pretty good comeback in singles, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like, it feels like a must. It's crazy that we're saying this, but it feels like a must win for the Americans. And I kind of thought Whistling Straits was that way too. Well, yeah, Whistling Straits was like the one where everyone's like, all right, if they win this, they may never lose again. And then to get their ass kicked in Rome the way they did, I think that's truly what made, and this is such a different team from that Whistling Straits team at this point. I just agree with you. And I think something that I'm curious to see, and I think could be underrated, honestly, it really feels like Keegan is such a different captain to what we're used to that it could go either way, I think.
I caught that feeling as well. So I watched, I don't know if you saw, they rolled out a hype video today. It was actually really good.
Yeah.
They did a team meeting. I want to say it was either Sunday or Monday. I think it was today. They had guys come in talking. They sung the national anthem. A New York firefighter sung the national anthem. They had a guy whose dad passed away on September 11th, who's now a New York firefighter, come in and kind of talk to him and kind of and I will say the route that Keegan's taking is very much a non-golf coach route, right? It's more of a like football mentality or a basketball, like the rah-rah, like we're playing for more than just a cup or whatever. Like it could go but one of two ways. It could be really good, and it's kind of like, hey, this is how we play into this new era of Ryder Cup where it's like dog eat dog, crowds are ruthless. Like maybe that's how we play into that. Or it could just go poorly and be like, that's not how golfers respond. Like most golfers don't respond to that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think he really surprised me during the press conference and like when they made the captain's picks and all that, because his outward, what you see of him feels very much like American bravado, rah-rah kind of guy. But I think, from that one press conference and kind of hearing more of their strategy and what they're doing, like, seems like there's a lot more layers to Keegan than he gets credit for.
Yep.
And I think, which side of him wins out, essentially, is what I'm curious to see.
Yep.
Is he going to be too, like, ego-driven to, like, to make some mistakes like a ZJ did or whatever? Or does he listen to the vice captains? Does he listen to the data? Like, does he listen to the players? Like, what kind of captain Keegan is, I think, could really define this Ryder Cup and then also future Ryder Cups, depending on who they select as captain.
Yeah, so. I will say this, because Keegan's the captain, this feels like the first year, even in Whistling Straits, you're kind of like, there's some tension, the live golf stuff started happening, and it wasn't a thing yet, but it was kind of being swirled around of this other golf league, and it felt like some guys in the locker room were testing the waters on that. There felt like tension there, even though they played really well and won, right? There was definitely tension 2 years ago because, everybody accused ZJ of the boys club, and it was just, all that tension within the room where, Jordan's on the team, maybe Jordan shouldn't be on the team. Justin's on the team, maybe Justin shouldn't be on the team. And they go out and lay a huge egg, and ZJ is probably one of the worst captains we've ever had. And so this is the first year where it's like, there feels like the least amount of tension within the locker room that I think we've ever had.
That's a really good point.
And I think everybody's kind of accepted the fact, like, Patrick Cantlay is all about a paycheck. That's just who he is. Like, you just kind of have to accept it, and rather than try to change it, and he's good on his own, right? And I think Keegan's kind of leaned into, like, I'm not here to change anybody. We're going to kind of play to your strengths. And it feels like the first time we're like, we're just going to let people be who they are and not try to change them. Because it feels like in years past, it's like, you have to fit in this mold.
Yeah.
And if you don't fit in this mold, and then like there's guys that just don't fit in that mold, right? Not everybody's JT. Not everybody's, not everybody's Scotty Scheffler. Like they're and it just felt like we were trying to squeeze a square peg into a circle hole, and it was just not working. This feels like the first year was like, there's not a lot of tension. And I think that helps with a decent amount of rookies on the team. It's like there's guys with no scar tissue, zero scar tissue. And I think they're all good rookies. Even Cam Young, as much as we talk shit about him, I don't think he's gotten any like baggage, right? Like there's been rookies in the past where like this dude's already got baggage. He's not even played in one of these yet, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's an angle I hadn't thought of, but I agree with. All right. Well, Team USA, let's get it done, right?
This sports weekend is just going to be too much. I mean, we've got our Ryder Cup on Saturday. Yeah. Immediately leave there / maybe stay there for I don't know what I'm going to do, and then we're going to have the Ryder Cup on. Ohio State plays at 3:30. There's really good college football games on all day. And then we got the Reds fighting for a playoff spot. This could be – this has got the potential to be a really good weekend or a really poor weekend based on the outcomes of some of these things.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we got all the bad out last weekend. A lot of L's being taken. We can just enjoy this weekend.
Look, if there's any omen that there's better things down the road, my Green Bay Packers blew a 10-point lead with 4 minutes left to the Cleveland Browns. It doesn't get any lower than that. There's no bar low enough to get to that point. So
that is pretty low.
That's rock bottom.
In the year 2020,
let's just call it what it is. That is rock bottom.
The year 2025, you've lost to Joe Flacco. It's impressive. God.
I don't want to get into it. I'll go on a rant. I don't want to get into it.
That's all good. We can head over to the patio before we get out of here real quick. Do you have a question?
I do. Hold on. Let me get it pulled up here.
You're good. I'll ask mine while you're pulling stuff up.
Yeah, go for it.
So I forget how Susie sent this to me, but again, I'm going to source a Susie question here. She sent something to the effect of, if you discovered that your wife was arrested, what would be the reason?
Domestic violence, for sure.
Jeez.
We've talked about this.
Good God.
It's so fun. I kid, but she doesn't really do anything wrong. Like, she doesn't drink, so it's not going to be drinking and driving. She doesn't gamble. It's not going to be like embezzling money or anything. Like, she's not financially a wizard enough to do that kind of stuff. But like, we've talked about it, it was like funny. She was in Vegas this weekend, and her family's kind of talking. Her dad's like, I'm so glad I like taught you guys all to be independent. And he literally looks at Danielle and goes, but you. And like, so the conversation came up, and all of her sisters are like, and he was like, what I mean by that is like, you're never going to like just let a guy abuse you or like, you're going to leave you're independent enough to just kind of get out of the situation. And all of her sisters are like, well, let's get one thing straight. If there's going to be anybody abusing anybody in that relationship, it's going to be Danielle abusing Justin. So it would definitely be some kind of domestic dispute. Maybe I golf too much, come home after a couple too many beers and just get the shit kicked out of me. Like, that's really what's going to happen.
That's fair. I do understand.
Again, she doesn't drink. So it's not going to be anything like that. You know what I mean? She doesn't steal, it's like she's not like slick enough for that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she knows she couldn't get away with it. I definitely think she thinks she could get away with domestic violence for sure.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's honestly, Susie's very similar. Like, very just a good person, doesn't have a lot of vices, any of that kind of stuff. Hers for sure, I think, would definitely be some sort of like civil disobedience protesting situation. She's very, civically driven.
Outspoken.
Outspoken. She teaches government, not afraid to, share her opinion. All things I respect and appreciate about her, but definitely if she were to be arrested, it would be for, either fighting for a cause she believed in or just, getting involved in a situation on someone else's behalf with her words, I think would be.
I could see that. Yeah. Again, doesn't drink a ton, right? Like, she's not going to it's not going to be like a DUI or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely something I could see.
I also
very civil unrest, right? Like,
exactly.
It would be like, she got tear gassed, and like that's kind of the arrest we're talking about here.
Yeah,
maybe maced. I don't know. Like,
some sort of activism. She would be
shot with like one of the rubber bullets. Like that's.
Oh God, that's got to be painful.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh God, that's a good question. If I was going to get arrested, I'm going to take it to me now. If I was going to get arrested, it would 100%. It would be for all the dumb stuff I do. It would be something that would be like, I would consider low risk, and then it would like backfire on me.
Yeah, you'd be a wrong place, wrong time arrest. Because you are too friendly.
And I would be wrongly accused, right? Like, it wouldn't be like, it would be like, someone lays a dude out and I'm standing there and I take the blame for it somehow. You know what I mean? Like, I get pinned for it, like some kind of setup, because again, I'm not that slick. So people could set me up pretty easily.
Yeah. I would be arrested because you got arrested.
You would be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I'm a guilty by association kind of person, I think. That's just the way it is. I'm a follower. I'm not very outspoken. I'm going to be arrested because my friend got arrested.
Yeah, it would be that or like some kind of like civil disobedience, like I'm like jumping into people's bushes or like I don't know, like something stupid along those lines, like peeing in public, like something dumb, like that's just like people get away with it every day, but I don't, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's
sure. 100% what I'd get arrested for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, all right. So this is a personal. Am I the asshole? Well, kind of personal. We had this situation, and it brought up a good point. I was actually talking to someone about food allergies and stuff like that. So about 10 years ago, Danielle's sister comes into town, and she comes in, and she was coming in for like 10 days, and we're like, let's go grocery shopping. We'll eat out a couple days, but let's go grocery shopping, cook dinner here, all this stuff. And we go to the grocery store, and she stays home. And, when she gets there, she's like, hey, just so you guys know, like, I'm gluten-free now. Well, at this point in time, okay, gluten-free was like a fad, right? It was what's called like I don't know, I don't want to call it a diet fad, but like, it was a fad to where the point where it was like, people that didn't know or had like, didn't have celiac or a gluten allergy or whatever, it was like, to them, like, oh, this is just another diet fad, right? This is just what people are doing these days to try to lose weight or whatever. So we go to the grocery store and we're buying stuff. And one night we wanted to have lasagna. And we go to the lasagna thing and I'm like, oh, we got to make sure it's gluten free. Like your sister's gluten free now. Like she said, don't buy anything with gluten. And, not thinking anything about it, Danielle was like, okay. And then like she just grabs one, right? We get home like 3 days later, we're cooking this lasagna. I'm like, you didn't grab the gluten-free one. She's like, it's just a diet fad. Like, it's not a real thing. Ruined her for 2 days. Like, just ruined her. Like, she actually legitimately has a gluten allergy.
Right.
I guess it's more of a question than the fact that is like, have you ever like, someone's told you something and you're like, you don't take it very seriously because you're like, oh, like that's just like a preference more than it is like, this is actually what I need. And maybe it's a food allergy thing or whatever. But like, I think that's more along the lines of the question is like, have you ever heard someone say something? You didn't really take it seriously. You took it as a preference rather than like, oh, this is like actually a thing.
Man, I don't know if I have a specific example, but like, that's definitely something that I've done, like, or even if it's like somebody, I don't know, think about how often somebody says they don't like something or it just comes off as like do you actually even know what that is or have you tried that or whatever? Yeah. And then, but like in reality, like, yeah, they actually like true. They can't eat that. Like you said, like the gluten thing is like a real thing or whatever. That stuff happens probably way more often than, you'd think. Like downplaying somebody else's like very serious issue. Yeah. I think that's a common misstep for people.
I had another one. So someone was planning a birthday party and they were like they told this person like, I have a phobia of clowns.
Oh God.
And they're like, oh, like you're just scared of clowns. Went to this birthday party. This girl legitimately passed out.
Oh my God.
Like they had clowns everywhere. She on the ground. Passed out.
Wow.
Like she was not kidding. Like, and that seems so ridiculous, right? Like a phobia of clowns. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? What are we, like 5? It was a real thing. Like she was deathly afraid of clowns. Like to the point where it would make her, like someone's like, oh, like she passes out and they're like, yeah, I saw her have a panic attack one time when we literally saw a clown like at a festival, like a panic attack. I'm like, are you like, this can't be real, right? Like, and I didn't do it. It was just something I witnessed, and I'm like, they're like, sometimes people don't exaggerate things. Like, it's an actual thing, right?
Yeah. No, that's...
I feel like I've done that more so than anything.
Probably. Yeah, I'm just not coming up with a great answer, unfortunately, right now. But, yeah, there has to... Like, there... Because I'm somebody that tends to just, like... I think my base, like, personality type sort of is, like, I'm cynical by nature. And, like, I always feel like nothing is as big of a deal as people make it out to be. So, like, anytime anybody tells me, like, something like that,
it's like a drastic overreaction.
I'm instantly skeptical of, like, whether it's a real thing or not. So, like, I think that's just me by nature. So I probably have stepped in this more times than I probably realized.
So when I thought of this, I was trying to remember, like, something I've done. And I was like, I was struggling. I'm like, I know I've done this before, but I couldn't, like, think of anything. But I'm like, I know I'm a habitual, like, I break this rule all the time. Like, all the time. Like, oh, yeah, that's not a real thing. Like, like, I'm still going to do this. That's not a real thing. Like,
seems like the only way to live your life.
Essentially, what I do whatever I want to do. That's kind of...
That tracks, yeah.
I am a cynical person, though, when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to be. When you don't experience it or you don't know it, right? Like, it's very easy to be like, yeah, that's... toughen up.
And maybe I don't have any phobias, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't, like, I don't have enough phobias where I'm like, I don't have anything that, like, if I had a phobia of, like, spiders, right? And I knew spiders, like, made me literally panic or whatever. Maybe I'd be a little more inept to, like, accept that. But I don't have any phobia. Like, not that I know of, at least not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I don't think I do either to that point. Like, I don't know that I have, like, there's nothing I would walk into a room and be like, hey, just so you know, this about me, Yeah,
and there's people like that. They'll, like, it'd be like one of the first things they tell you about themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm deathly afraid of clowns, or I'm, don't, whatever. You could name any phobia, right? And it's like, that's not a real thing. It's just not. I don't know. I'm so bad. I'm going to think of one that I've done, like, specifically. I know I've done it a lot, though.
Yeah, I'm sure I have to, and I'm sure I'll hear about it within the next week. So I'll let you know. All right. Thank you all for listening. It is Ryder Cup week. Please go enjoy that. Enjoy the awesome sports weekend that's ahead. Subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack. Go Team USA. Go Team Red.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Just cheers. Across the board.
Yeah. Cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back9Sixpack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back9Sixpack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.